You channel regulars will probably recognize my washing machine because a year ago I did a pretty popular video on how this door latch switch works, because I had to replace mine because the relay coil in it was blown. And 90% of the time when one of these things won't start at all or won't go into a high-speed spin, it's because the door latch switch is acting up. It has two locking mechanisms in it. One to tell the control board that the door is locked and latched, and a solenoid to hold it closed. And then another to say that a secondary locking mechanism is engaged that keeps the door opening during a high-speed spin, so that even if the power goes out, the door will stay locked until the spin is over, till the drum is spun down. Now my washing machine isn't going into a high-speed spin, which is frustrating. So naturally I thought, well, yeah, you buy the cheap $30 part on Amazon and it's failed right away, you know. But I used my own video. I had to look at it and remember how to do it, and I took this latching switch out, latch out, and looked at it and ran the full test on it, and it's working fine. And if you run a diagnostic on this machine, it throws an error code 43, which means the control board doesn't think that the high-speed lock is in place. But since the switch is fine, unfortunately, it means there's a problem with the wiring from the switch to the control board, or the control board itself has a problem, I guess. Nothing mechanically seems to be wrong. Pumps are running, the belt's fine, the drum turns, it does the slow slosh, it just won't spin fast because it doesn't think that the door is latched with that. Unfortunately, that means we got to get into this thing, which unfortunately means my wife had to move all the stuff out of this closet, which is where I'm sitting now. And unfortunately, that means we have to get to the back of this, and maybe we have to get to the top of it, which means the dryer has to come off. And I've never taken the dryer off. So I don't know where we're going. Control board for this thing is about $300. By the time you pay tax and shipping, it's like $370. Or $270, sorry. $270 plus tax and shipping, $300. And I'd like to do a component level fix on it if I can, but I have no idea if that's possible. I'm just a homeowner, just a guy who doesn't want to buy a new washing machine. But, you know, it may be time to do that, because they make these things to last 10 years, and this thing is 11, and it's like bang, right on schedule, kind of going kaput. So let's get into this and figure out what's going to happen. I have no idea where this is going. I think I'll start by taking this door off, which is a pain to put back, but it's easy to get out. Now give this a close. Can I move the whole stack around? Well, oh man, it's pretty heavy. I think we gotta bite the bullet and take the dryer off. Now there's two screws in front here, so I'll unscrew those and hopefully we can tip it back. No way to get your fingers in here, so if the screw falls in there, you gotta just use the needle nose, I guess. All right, is that gonna loosen this up so this can come up? Yeah. So that's free now, but I think I'm gonna need the missus's help to maybe lift this thing off of here. Here's the view around the back. We gotta get this dryer vent hose off, but it's screwed to the bracket, so I gotta take that out and pull this off. And then there's a gas line too, so that'll be fun. Yeah, that bracket is kind of homemade. It looks like they just wrapped a coat hanger or baling wire around the thing and then jammed a screw into the case. Anyway, this should come off now. Okay, I guess I want to get to the other side of this thing to get the gas line. And the gas line's got some flex in it. Boy. Big enough? Almost. If I wasn't so damn fat. Okay. Turn the valve off. Now we need some wrenches. Alright, well it looks to be about 7/8. Okay, we're going 3/4 on the big one, 7/8 on the little one, and not reverse threaded. So we'll see if we can crack this thing. Don't know where to put the camera. Couldn't record it because I couldn't get the camera and the wrenches in here. It took a lot of pressure and then finally cracked. The sweet smell of gas. And then something easy. Alright, let's just turn this whole stack here. Guess it's good to clean back here every decade or so. These are too tight to unscrew by hand. Well, I guess it's a good thing we took this apart. There's a lot of crap in these water lines, so I'll try to clean these filters out before we put it back together. Now, about this drain line, I guess it just lifts out of here. I have to cut a few cable ties. Or maybe just one cable tie. Yeah. Get some more room to move the stack around here. Oh boy. Well, let's see what we've got besides a mess. Well, it looks like if you want to really destack this, you got to take these 4 screws out too, because these brackets go up and there's a little clip in there, although you probably could tilt it forward and slide it off. But I'm afraid you'd bend these brackets in doing that. But we're going to leave it on for this moment. This access hatch looks interesting and the easiest, potentially the easiest way in. So I'm going to try to take out these screws and go in here. Okay, what do we have in here? Drive belt, which looks to be in fairly good shape. I mean, if you're going to replace it, this might not be a bad time. If I have to order parts, I might get one of these as well because, you know, why not? But this looks really good, actually. And, I see what's probably the control board hiding here on the right. And, of course, it's all impossible to get to. There's wiring buses going up here. We had weird operation at one time, and I thought maybe mice had gotten in here, so I'm kind of looking to see if anything's been chewed as well. So I don't see how to get that out of there without taking the whole back panel off so it can come out here. I still don't want to take this whole back plate off. I don't know if you can see this, but there's one screw here that goes down to the ground tab, so I'm going to try to get the screwdriver in there and take that out and then see if we get lucky with this plastic cover or the whole thing. I don't know. Can't believe it's only held in with one fastener, though. All right, let's see what we got. Well, that's relatively loose. So I unplugged the blue and black and took this wiring harness out of its lower clip on the side here. I don't know if we can make it around this corner, though. We might make it. I can't go back, I can't go forward. So I'm pushing that forward. That gives me, pushing the whole drum cage forward. It seems like there's enough slack in these wires to get it out without disconnecting anything, which is good, because then you can plug it in out here before you slide it back into place. I might cut this lower cable tie that's holding this wire that runs across the bottom of the unit, because that'll give me a little more play. Yeah, it gets in the way of itself. I'm gonna cut that. That is a tight bundle. Ah yes, the mighty Power 1. Really moves current when it's spinning, I guess, as you can only run it for 10 minutes. Yeah, this seems like a plastic hinge down here. Like this should fall open towards me. Oh, there's a latch here. Yeah, okay. Now we can get to these connectors anyway. Let's take a good shot of this so I can put it back. Yeah, you'd think this whole thing would just flop down and open. I just can't figure out how this works. So I'm lifting up. I'm gonna get it out of there. Okay, so it is. It's just a triangle shape. It's lifted up. Oh, maybe you're probably supposed to put something in here to release it. Yeah. Okay. So that's how it's designed to open. You jam a thing in there, and it pops this latch. Oh, looky. Now things are getting a little more interesting, and we can finally go after these connections, which are just edge connectors. Come on, ground lug. Are you coming, Mr. Ground Lug? I'm gonna pull the pads off the board if I keep doing that. I'm holding the thing the lug attaches to. Oh, well, all right, I broke it out, so now I gotta like resolder that. See if we can get the board out with the heatsink attached, you know? Yeah. Well, there we are. Holy crap, I am such an idiot. This is a control board, but it's the motor control board. It's a power supply, switch mode power supply for the motor. I was just so fixated on not wanting to take the dryer off the top of the washer that I was hoping and praying this was it. And of course it's not. The real control board is on the front, behind the front panel where the buttons are. I mean, that's obvious. I guess I should have watched a YouTube video before I started tearing into this thing. So I didn't have to take this out at all. I'm just dumb. Yeah, so I mean, the power goes in here. There's a relay to turn the whole board on and off. You got your transformer and your inductor for the switch mode power supply, and conditioning, line conditioning capacitors. This is a switching power supply controller. Inputs from the real control logic come in here and go through these optio couplers, and then you got these huge power MOSFETs here and their corresponding driver chips, and a big bridge rectifier over here. And then big power for the motor goes out on these tangs over here. So yeah, stupid. So now I will put this back and we will take the dryer off the top of the washer. Okay, the control board's back in here and I've tied these cords up. It was easier to put in than to take out, because once you know how it works, you kind of can leave the pop top off to get to the edge connectors. So now I'm going to take these mounting kit brackets off. Get in here.
Okay. What are we doing?
Well, one of us here, and we'll lift it into the hallway.
Okay.
That's the theory.
Okay.
Which side would you like?
I think this.
No, that side or this side.
Oh, so I'm here.
Yeah.
And we're gonna.
Yeah.
And we're lifting.
Let's see how heavy it is.
Okay. Can we try scooting first?
What?
We're just doing the top.
Yeah.
Okay, whew. All right.
I don't know if that makes it any better.
Well, sure it does.
Is it going to come off? Okay. So it's a loose thing. Well, maybe I should push it from the back out to your waiting hands. Huh. Then you'd have more room. Is that good, you think? I don't know.
I just don't know what to do once you
get it up. Put it down.
Yeah. Well, that is.
All right, wait a minute. Okay, I'm under it.
Okay, I'm under it.
You're under it?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, baby, this is fun. Okay. Okay. Yay. It's not super heavy.
Getting it back on is going to be a completely different kettle of fish.
Well, that's your problem. You're out of frame. Say hi to the YouTube people.
Hello.
We all need a wife like that, don't we? She plays the harp, so she's got a little hand truck to move the harp around, and we use that to kick the dryer out to the other room for the next, week or however long this is going to take. So the theory is we take these two screws out in the back, and this thing slides back and off. We'll see if that's really true. Hey, board's in there. So it looks like we gotta undo some stuff here. Safety latch, slide to open. Ah, ew. There's a little latch in the lower left here you can push to get this thing out. Give this a clean too. I'm gonna put the knobs clockwise. And do they have to come off first? Let's see. Maybe not. And I'm gonna go for the plastic front piece here first, I think. Everything's number 2 Phillips, so it's pretty easy. Let's see what happens here. Oh, still attached. Oh, there are some screws in here where the drawer goes. Okay, these are different sizes. I'm going to sort these out. I always like to use a manual screwdriver because you can feel what you're doing and maybe not get into as much trouble as fast. So we have all our wiring harnesses, which I assumed are keyed, but I'll photograph them just in case. Looks like power goes in here. And here is gray, pink, and orange. So these are the door sensor wires. These are the ones that are the most interesting to me. And I want to be sure there's continuity on this orange wire from the switch to here. I can't imagine there wouldn't be, but once we know that this wire is good at bringing the signal to the board, we can start looking at the board seriously. All right, photographic evidence has been obtained. That's got a little retainer on the top to pull up to get that one out. Now we got these cable ties again, and I guess I will cut them again. Okay, let's do a little continuity test. I'll spin this thing around and we'll take this to the bench. Okay, once again, we're going to go for the door switch. It's like the third or fourth time I've done this. You'd think I'd be good at it by now, but... First we grab this retaining ring and take it out. And we peel this back, like that. So we can get back here and take this screw out. And this other screw out. Here we are. And Mr. Orange here is our high-speed door is locked wire. So now I'm going to get some wire and clips and multimeter and stuff, and we'll test this. Hang on. Okay, this is kind of like I did in my other video. I took some bus wire, which is like paperclip wire, only thinner, and jammed it into these connectors. Here's the orange wire for the high-speed latches shut wire, and here it is where it goes into the controller. And now I'll set the multimeter up to beep. Put it here so you can see it. Okay, so now if I clip onto here and clip onto here, we want to hear a beep. And we do. So that wire's okay. We can go ahead and test the other ones as long as we're here. This is the gray wire, which I think is the main door is locked wire. Okay, so that's fine too. And then this pink, let's see, what's the pink? Is that, it looks like power for the wax motor. I better look at my diagram, hang on. That is power for the wax motor. And you know, it never occurred to me, but it could be the control board's not heating up the wax motor. It worked on my test bench because I put 120 volts right on it. But if the control board doesn't tell this thing to heat up, obviously the plunger's not going to move and the latch is not going to engage. Let's see, where, oh, it's down here, of course. So let's try Mr. Pinky. And of course all these red and black wires are commons. So I'd like to make sure that those are connected, or nothing would work if the common was open, but let's see what we got here. Okay. So all the wiring between the switch and the control board is fine. So the problem's not there. It's not like mice ate anything. Really does start to look like the problem is in the control board. Okay, finally, like 3 screws here and 2 in the middle. So I guess we'll just take these out. The knobs are still on, that's why it's rocking around. But I don't want to take them off if I don't have to. If they're shaft encoders or something that have to be properly aligned, I don't want to deal with it unless I have to. Something's still holding it down, maybe the knobs. Doesn't seem like it though. Seems like the knob should be able to stay on and go for a ride here. There's some latching clips or something. Look here. Yeah, maybe. yeah, there's little clips here. I really should have my plastic tool. Okay, so that's loose. How about on the bottom? Here's one. Right here. There we go. I had this side off and it snapped back in. Yeah. Ooh, little springs for all the buttons. We'll just leave that right alone. Washer, the next level. Martina inspected this down Mexico way. You can see these latches here. Mr. Control Board, you are mine. Okay, finally. So finally, here's the board out of its housing. Nothing particularly special. I guess the power comes in here. You got some power conditioning, some relays, where the knob goes in, and this is an NXP 8-bit microprocessor. But I'm interested in this area here. This is the power out to the wax motor. This is the power out to the solenoid, the other locking mechanism in the door latch that holds the door closed during the wash cycle, and not just the spin. And this is where the wax motor switch is closed and you can do the high-speed spin signal comes in. So one of two things is wrong. This is not putting out power to drive the wax motor, which I really should have tested, I'm dumb, before I took this apart. Or the sensing that this the switch is closed is not happening. And the more I thought about it, I thought, gee, you know, it makes a lot of sense that the output to heat the wax motor up, you know, might stop working because you're driving a lot of current to run a resistive heater all the time. These two ICs are solid state switches, as are this and this and this. So the microprocessor says, hey, turn on the wax motor, and then the current passes by this MOV, this varistor, which is here to squelch any kind of transient power spikes, and out to this pin. So I thought, well, maybe the MOV has failed and is shorting the signal to ground. So I took this out of the board and tested it, but unfortunately it still has a high resistance, which indicates it's good. I also tested this one and it tests the same, and I know the solenoid works. So these unfortunately are good because these would be the easiest things to replace. Unfortunately, that means that the only thing to do is without a schematic, it's very hard to debug, because it could be one of these, it could be any of these other little components. I don't see any damage under the microscope or anything. So I'm going to have to cop out YouTube, I'm afraid, and buy a new board. And that was an interesting process. Because you can see this here if it's in focus. Let's see here. So I was looking for a 137005000 plane. That's what this is listed at, and I found one for like $285, and so I went ahead and ordered it. I also found a used version of that for about $120, but it was used, and you know, you don't know how worn the parts are. So I said, well, I'll get a new one. So I put my order in, and I was going to be at that $300 I talked about earlier. And then I found this one, and it's the same thing with NH at the end. I thought, oh my gosh, is that a different part? It looks identical in the picture, you know, could it, is it the same piece? And it took me forever to figure out that the NH means no housing. So it doesn't come with all the plastic, which I don't need anyway. It's just the bare board. And it's, you know, $100 cheaper. It's $182 at the end of the day. So so I canceled the first order and bought this, and we're waiting for it to come. And it looks like we're going to have another weekend at the laundromat, unfortunately. But after Christmas, we ought to be able to put this in. Well, it's a Christmas miracle. The new board came early, so we can put it in before the weekend, which is great. And as you can see, they're identical. Here are the instructions. Obviously, all these parts are Electrolux, because Electrolux makes Frigidaire, I guess. So that's what that stuff says. Basically, it says put it back together. So that's what we're going to do. So all these parts are keyed. I don't think you can put it together incorrectly. It just took me a long time to put it together correctly, because it's kind of fiddly and I didn't want to force anything. You can tell when it's right. Everything just kind of clicks into place. As far as the UI board itself and all the wiring harnesses, there's one that's not used, and I think that if I had the more expensive model with the little display on it, that's what that connector would be used for. I also took out the inlet water filters and cleaned them. You're supposed to yank them straight out with pliers. Of course, the plastic was brittle and the plastic flanges to do that broke right off, so I wound up going in with screwdrivers and my little needle nose and finally got them out. Threw them in the ultrasonic and now they're clean. Okay, big moment before we go any further and connect up any hoses or anything. Let's see if we can do a test. Go ahead and plug it in. That's a good sign. The control board started, microprocessor is running, it ran the beeper. The lights look approximately correct. We'll do pause cancel to turn everything off, and we'll do pause cancel and options for 5 seconds and hopefully get it into self-test mode here. There we go. That lets us see all the LEDs are working. Now, in theory, if I click this all the way over to clean washer, it should go into high-speed spin, which it wasn't before, so this is kind of the big test. Since there's no water, I don't think I can run any of the water tests. Let's see what happens here. You gonna do it? Ooh. Okay, that's the drain pump. And it's turning. Ooh, baby. Hooray, we are back in business. So I went and ordered a replacement belt while I was at it, and you can get these $15 no-name belts or the $80 Electrolux belt, but I found supposedly a new one for $40, and it's supposed to be out for delivery, so it should be coming in a few minutes. We can put that in. So yeah, it looks like the real deal, or at least new old stock. It's a renewal part, not a replacement part. It's kind of like that old apocryphal IBM tape drive story. The engineer wanted to call the light on the drive idle, and the executive came by and said, no, change it to ready, because our drives are never idle. So we're going to renew this. So the theory is we roll this sucker off of here, like that. As I say, it doesn't look to be in bad shape, but since I'm back here, you know, don't want to do this again. Is this wider? No, it's the same. Same part number. That's good. Okay. Get that in the grooves. In the grooves good, and we're towards the back, and we just turn this thing on here. Well, that's the theory anyway. Let's see how it goes. Oh, man. And we don't want it so far back it rubs the tub, but we don't want it so far forward it comes off. I think that's pretty good. That seems pretty nicely centered. All right.
Do you think there's a chance in hell that we're going to be able to do this?
I don't know. I'm scared.
I'm scared too. I mean, this is heavy.
Yeah, it's not.
Lifting it up, you know, 4 feet.
It's not super bad.
I'm thinking tip it back this way so that I can, you know. Oh, well, I've got a lip here.
I've got kind of a lip.
Except I don't know how stable that is. Oh, okay.
Can you keep it up? Okay, now let me get into a lifting position.
I just don't know.
Okay, got your legs?
Yep.
It's got to come back to you. Okay, good.
Oh my God, we did it. I don't believe we did this. I seriously don't.
What the heck? I haven't turned the water on. We've developed an aneurysm. And a quick run to the hardware store later. Came back with these snazzy red and blue hoses that are half a foot longer. And I went back and reviewed the video, and the aneurysm was there the whole time. I just hadn't noticed it. These hoses on them say replace every 5 years. That's probably a good practice, but the ones we had were like 11 years old, so I'm glad we're taking care of this as well. Well, all is as it was. Time has resumed its shape. The cabinet is full of garbage again, and my wife can finally get back to doing my laundry, and I know she's pretty happy about that. At the end of the day, we spent about $250 on the whole thing, and we got a new control board, belt, and hoses, which is less money than I thought just the control board alone was going to cost, so I'm pretty happy about that. Heck, you can hardly get them to roll a truck in California for that amount of money anymore. Not quite true, but almost true. Anyway, so I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.